Hi, everyone. Welcome to Empowered with Gina podcast. I have a bird of a feather sitting across from me today. I am so influenced and inspired by Miss Tish Galino, who's here today. She's beautiful. I mean, look at her. This is everyone. This is Tish. Meet her.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome, my friend.
Thank you, friend. Thank you.
So, my beautiful friend, you are a serial entrepreneur and the founder of Women Raise the Game.
Yes.
And
the 360 agency.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about those.
Let's do it.
First thing, 3 adjectives to describe yourself.
Ooh. Soulful.
Ooh.
Creative. And a girl's girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good. So tell us, where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Salinas Valley, Farmworkers community, born and raised from immigrant parents, and really came from a community of entrepreneurship. And my parents were farm workers, eventually, started up a little business. And then there were like community people who gave back through the church. And, so yeah, those are my beginnings.
When you were a little girl, was school or starting your own business, was there conversations around that, or you're just going to go to school and then come out and work, or like, what was that narrative?
Sure. Well, again, we were like entrepreneur, community, give back people. My parents were, so you model what you see, right? So I grew up with the mindset of having my own business. And
even as a little girl?
Yeah. I would say that my career started between the age of like 7 and 9 because I started translating. And it was actually not something that I wanted to do. But then one day my mom told me, Senora Garcia, wants you to go to this doctor's appointment with her. And I was like, oh. And she said, there's like $3 for you in it. And that was the beginning of my career. I was like, let's do this. So there were older children in the neighborhood. It was predominantly like very much a farm workers community. And there were older children there who spoke English much better than I did. Mm-hmm. But I think also just being light-skinned and güerita, people thought I spoke better English. And it started a career for me. And it also shaped my perspective on life. I think, often I was translating for either issues around immigration, issues around healthcare, and often I was advocating through their voice. So imagine like, Senora Garcia telling, the immigration attorney, no, but tell him that, we already filled out those papers.
And you're 9.
And I'm 9. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, she says she already filled out. And so it gave me this way of communicating and advocating at a young age. And I think it's like a double-edged sword, right?
Sure.
It gives you confidence. You talk to people very much like at a certain level, but it also exposes you to a lot of people's pains and heartaches at a young age.
Yeah.
So I think that was very pivotal in shaping my career and where I'm at today. And I've tried to unlearn some of it, to be honest.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's heavy for a
right.
child. Yeah, bittersweet, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So did you go to higher education?
I did, San Jose State. And then in 2016, I graduated from the Stanford program for business entrepreneurs. So I'm a huge advocate. It's specifically designed for Latino entrepreneurs. And so it also was impactful in the way it shaped my career in terms of scale and having a vision for scale. So huge advocate. So all you entrepreneurs out there, look into programs that help you develop your careers further.
Interesting. That's a good point, because there are a lot of people wanting to start careers or in building their career. So you found it valuable to educate yourself beyond like the traditional schooling.
I did. I had a mindset of business ownership from an early age, really from modeling what, my parents had done. But understanding how to take your career or your entrepreneurship to a level of scale where you're not in the business, but you're actually growing a business and you're out getting the business was really a mindset shift. And I had been running my agency, a creative agency, with now my partner, Tamala's Latina Black-owned. Um, at a smaller scale, and I think it really shifted my thinking in terms of here's what we can do. We are working with global brands. So why am I not talking about ourselves that
Mm.
way? Why am I not building and scaling the business so that we can continue to grow? And I'm not specifically attached to actually doing the business, but I'm the face of it. And it's really like a mindset shift, but it came through the scale program at Stanford where it really changed my thinking. And it's been just genius. It's been wonderful.
So you started first with the 360 agency.
I did.
So tell us what the agency is about and why did you start it?
Sure. I mean, it originally started with my seeing a need in the way brands were connecting to culture. And they were connecting to culture in a way where I thought it didn't represent us and us as Latinas, and then other communities, LGBTQ, African American. And so I took my shot and started meeting with them. And, at 26, you're just like, vocal
Yeah.
and and telling them I can do it better, and I really felt that we could do it better. And I had a shop first at Coca-Cola and then
Wow.
continue to scale that and have grown it into a multicultural marketing agency. We're creative, we're from social to digital to experiential, but since then I've really moved into multicultural is the general market, where it
Mm.
used to be more like we were otherized.
Mm.
These communities were, oh, let's do general market and then let's talk to this community. We, in fact, are the general market. Moving
Yes.
forward, I believe that any brand that wants to win really needs to understand culture, its dimensionality. We're not this one lane. And so that's really our superpower. And we have just grown incredibly at a high speed, um, award winning, powerful. I think, in the space of creative agencies, I'm still, I would say, not disappointed, but
Mm.
frustrated that Latina owned agencies, women owned agencies are less than 3%
Mm.
of agencies out there
In the country.
in the country, in the country. And so I'm proud, not proud.
I get it.
I know that we need to change that.
Yes.
And I am in a place in my life about, paying it forward and how do I expand that opportunity to other women
Yeah,
and to multicultural women for that.
absolutely.
So, yeah.
And then where did the idea for Women Raise the Game come from?
Yeah. So on that same note, I think the first, 2 decades or the last 2 decades of my life have been about building and getting, what can I get for
Mm.
myself? What can I get for my agency? How can I grow this? And now I'm like, well, I've done it. I've like I'm ringing that bell. I've reached
Mhm.
that brass ring. So now it's a time to pause and say, oh, wow, how do I give back and make it easier for women and multicultural women, women of color? And that's where Women Raise a Game came from. As I looked at my career and the many brands that we've worked with and the many campaigns that we've been part of in sports and entertainment, many of the times I saw that it was the men who got a lot of the highlight, the halo. God, there were some powerful women behind them,
Yeah.
and they just didn't get the elevation. And I also thought about how hard it had been for us to build this agency. And so from there, literally like kitchen talk to, to kitchen table
Wow.
talk, like, what can we do? What can we do to make it easier for other women? And we decided, because women raise the game.
For sure.
Everything we do, we multiply it.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard the saying, there's a house, but when a woman comes in, it's a home.
Mm.
You know, there are ingredients, a woman touches it, and we make a meal and we make it for
So
everybody.
good.
So we are multipliers. And so about Women Raise a Game, it really became like, how do we spotlight powerful women like you and so many others that are doing some really impactful work,
Mm-hmm.
but don't get the spotlight enough. And we put it out there. And, you and I talked about this. You put your seed out there and you bet on yourself. And next thing you know, 10, 20, 100 women are coming around and saying, I want to be part of this. And it's been quite an incredible journey. We're going to be at the Super Bowl in less than a week and a half.
What does that mean?
Wow. It's big time. So
Oh my goodness.
we're at the Super Bowl, celebrating Women Raise a Game, again, putting the spotlight on just impressive women who are changing the game, creating opportunity, voicing the need for inclusion, for representation. But they are business women. Like,
Yes.
they're not just talking about diversity and inclusion. They're talking about how this makes a difference in the business space.
Yes.
And so for us, it's a wonderful celebration. Constance Schwartz from SMAC, she's a baller. I mean, she's so impressive. She's our Woman of the Year.
Oh,
Michael Strand is on stage. He is her business partner, but such a champion of women.
oh.
So he's handing over, the recognition. And we, as Women of the Year creators, are there putting together 2 panels with just an array of topics
Oh.
and just celebrating, because as you know, Gina, you can't believe it if you don't see it.
That's right. Representation matters.
does.
Absolutely.
It does.
So I love that you're taking something you're clearly passionate about. This is not just like, oh, this is a great idea, let's do it. The passion is there. And you plant your seed and you naturally find alignment like you've done just with partners and strategic partnerships and people that are allies with you. And you're now at this like nationally recognized global event celebrating what you've created, which is
Right.
kind of incredible and well-deserved.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
congratulations. That's
Thank you.
massive. What's next? What do you have planned as far as the agency and Women Rise the game?
Sure. I mean, you just said you started this conversation with like birds of a feather,
Yeah.
flock together.
Yeah.
And I am just a believer in creating and betting in yourself and putting it out there and letting that magic just percolate. And so I'm grateful for where we are, but it's been a lot of hard work. Or maybe I should say, and it's been a lot
Yeah,
of hard work,
And
right? Like you got to do the work.
yeah, of course.
You got to have that idea.
This did not come easy.
No.
This is earned and this is sleeves rolled up.
That's right.
Is this a big mistake? Is this a failure? What am I doing?
Always.
Every day.
I'm
Do I know what
scared.
I'm doing? I don't think I know what I'm doing.
I'm like, wait, why did I set out to do this?
Why would anyone believe what the hell I'm saying?
I'm like, wait, well, why are we doing this?
Yes.
And then you're fortified
Yeah.
by the response. You're fortified by that person that says, wow, that made a difference. That person who's like, yes,
It did.
thank you, because
It
you know,
validates it.
absolutely.
And
women,
this is sorry to cut you off. It's an important point because you're kind of breezing it over and not you are, but you aren't. We cannot dismiss or negate the amount of blood, sweat, and tears you have put into these concepts. You know, like we're talking
Funded.
about the accolades, the funding, to ask for money, to be
Yeah.
told no,
yeah,
to have people like kind of be like, yeah, and give you that like passive aggressive,
that's
like
right.
that.
That's right.
You've got to check your ego and put that at the door. But sometimes it doesn't stay at the door and it's like very embarrassing and you get
Yeah.
hit hard.
That's right.
Talking to women watching and listening today who are in their own journeys and get the ego hits or get told no time after time and the cold calling or the embarrassing moments in their development. What do you say to that? How do you advise them?
Sure. 2 things, right? Delay is not denial.
Ooh,
Delay is not denial. And rejection is not personal. It's a data point.
data point.
Take that data and decipher it. Understand, like, what do I need to do differently? Or I'm in a space right now of attract. I'm like, I've put in the work. I'm confident in what we're doing. Not everyone's for you. And that's okay.
Okay.
get your ego out of the way. It's not personal. It's probably not in alignment to some of their goals or what they're trying to
And
achieve.
that's fine.
Continue to be in your power because you will attract what is for you.
Period.
Yeah, that's
Period.
it. Delay is not denial. It's never personal. Use the data point, and keep going.
You
keep
see?
moving.
And it will be hard and it won't feel good.
All of it.
It will not feel good.
It will not feel good. You will question yourself. But you know what? You meet yourself in that process.
Sure do.
You meet new dimensions of yourself where you're like, wow, I thought I had it in me, and now I know I have it in me.
That's right.
And it's powerful.
And also you find out in that space what is not for you, which I think is probably equally as important.
Yes.
You put yourself in spaces and intuitively you're like, this does not feel right to me.
That's right.
It's an opportunity, yes, but something about this does not resonate.
That's right.
And we listen to that.
That's right.
Right?
Well, there's the 3 brains that I really believe in.
Oh.
It's like your brain, right? There's your heart, and then there's your gut.
Intuition.
You better trust your gut. Your gut will.
See, I told you.
I mean, your gut will tell you so much.
It's the smartest one, I think.
Yeah.
It knows.
Being connected to that and being able to, again, like you just look at an opportunity or rejection's an opportunity.
It sure is.
You know,
It's a
and
learning
so
opportunity.
It's a learning opportunity, and just take it in and grow from it. So
Okay, and you're also a mom. Let's talk about that.
I'm a
Because she's
mom.
doing all of this.
I'm a
check, check, check,
mom.
check. Rejection, failure, success, repeat. And you're a mom.
I'm a mom.
Okay, tell me about that journey.
Wow. I've been a single mom for about 14 years now, doing it on my own. And it is the hardest job I've ever done in my life. It is also the most rewarding,
Yeah.
right? And now I have these 2 young adult men.
Oh.
They're 21 and 22.
And so handsome.
So handsome. And I'm learning from them, I'm learning from them. They are our greatest teachers for sure. They stretch you, and they stretch you to be even a bigger, better human being. And I love it. Like, I welcome it.
I love that you are raising men.
I'm
like,
raising men.
I love that you
are
and
raising
everything
men.
you represent are raising men. Because can you imagine how her boys interact with and think about women? Like, they hold them to her standard. Like, yes,
That is so true.
this is it.
But it's also giving me perspective on men.
Okay.
It's grown me as really trying to understand the other side. And I hope I'm going to make a better girlfriend to someone one day, if you're listening out there, because it's taught me that we really do think very differently. And I didn't know that growing up with all sisters and mostly women.
Oh.
So having young men shape my perspective and having to be quiet and listen,
Oh.
because I'm a strong woman.
Oh.
I'm a decision maker, and all of a sudden really understanding how to work with these 2 young men to inspire them, to motivate them to do the things that I want them to do. There's like an easy formula. And leaning into that, I've learned so much from them as well. So it's been an interesting journey, and we're on a journey right now.
For sure.
So
Yes.
it's been wonderful. And I have a bonus daughter.
Oh.
So I have a bonus daughter, and it's been unbelievable. She's in her early 30s, and being, a bonus parent,
Yes.
it also dimensionalizes
Better
you.
believe it.
So I got like a hexagon going here.
How wonderful.
Beyond.
How beautiful. You're living. This is
I'm
life.
living.
You're
I am
lifing.
living. I'm lifing.
Right? And I love that you said bonus daughter, because that's how we reference it in our home. We don't use the word step.
All right.
So Mike is the girl's bonus dad. And he doesn't even say bonus daughters. He says daughters, but
beautiful
bonus daughters. And the kids are now, they're 12 and 9. They're now saying, oh, I have my mom and my bonus dad. And then, and they describe their dad. And it's just, I love that, because the language, the power, the security and love that comes with it,
That's
right?
right.
Wow. What a game changer. So thank you for using that word. So tell us about personal challenges and how we go through that, because life's going to throw the balls at us, right? And we can pivot and we can do what we do with it. How do you find how do you find your footing under you? If you want to share a little bit about
Sure.
what you're recently going through.
Through life, right?
Yeah.
Life is lifing. Wow, I do believe that, our environment and our life experience shapes us and prepares us. And, I try to find humor and a way to soften some of the things that we go through. We're all going through stuff,
Always.
I've been through a divorce. I lost my dad during COVID.
Mm.
I lost my business during COVID, and then
Wow.
did a whole reset. So like we're challenged all the time. And right now I'm going through probably, I would say, the biggest challenge of my life,
Yeah.
as many Angelinos are, with the fires. I lived at Pacific Palisades. And for me, that was like the brass ring. That is a community, probably, one of the wealthiest communities that you could live in. And coming from living like in farm worker projects in
Unbelievable.
Salinas,
Unbelievable.
I had felt like, oh, that's it. That's my brass ring. I've worked my entire life to create a life that I want. And, this is a community that probably my parents would have worked in.
Yeah.
So incredibly proud of that. And then the Palisades fires have knocked me to my knees.
And that's lifing. And so you are going through it right now. And how? Because for you, it's the fires. I know you're navigating going through it right now.
Yeah.
People are navigating going through health issues that are equally as traumatizing and devastating, or life issues that are equally as devastating. Being in it right now, how are you talking to yourself, and how are you talking to yourself through it? The good, the bad, and the ugly of it all.
Okay, so it's incredibly challenging because I'm a strong woman.
Yeah.
And, resourceful women, business leaders, we solve problems and we know how to get through it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to apply that same formula. And God and the universe are like, oh no.
Not this one.
Not this one. You don't get to solve it.
Wow.
You don't get to get through it.
Yeah.
You have to be in
it.
it.
Ooh.
And being in it and not being to solve it quickly enough, and my impatience of that it's a level of vulnerability that I am so uncomfortable with, and it's the level of raw nakedness.
Yeah.
It's just, wow. One day you have all your stuff, and the next day you have a pair of underwear and maybe the sweats that you were able to grab from your home. And you're learning so much about yourself at 100 miles an hour because you have to make quick decisions, and you got to lean into people and trust. And I am so grateful of the circles of people that have come through that I didn't expect and I feel like super uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
And you have like random people that you at some point cross paths with and that you maybe did something for, but you never expect anything from, and they're leaning in and reaching out and supporting you. And I know there are so many people going through this right now. And I just want to say that if you know somebody, reach out to them. Even if you're just sending them a quick text, like it means something. It makes you feel like you're not alone in this.
I love that. No, I know it. I know. And you're going through it. And just hearing you say how it's so uncomfortable and you're vulnerable, I can see it. You're a doer. You're an executor. You can solve anything. Done. It's not a problem. Bring it on.
Yeah.
But when you have all of your tools literally taken from you and you're left exposed like this, it can rock you. It will rock you. But because you are who you are and that is your character, after you process this, you're already going through it with strength, period, from what I see. And it probably doesn't feel like it,
Yeah.
but you are, and you're going to make something of this too, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how you are. That's what you do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's the dichotomy here, right? That this is who I am. I'm used to giving and doing, and all of a sudden I have to receive.
Yes. Very uncomfortable.
And it's uncomfortable. And then there's magic in it, and you see so much beauty and humanity. And you and Mike started the drive, and I was watching what you were doing, and I was so inspired by it, but I couldn't emotionally get myself there.
Yeah.
And then I called you, and I was like, I need to be there. You're like, come on down and do nothing, just be in it. And I came to be in it.
Yeah, it was fun. Your son came.
Well, here's we're impacted, right? We have nothing. And I picked up these cards, and I picked up Play-Doh, and I picked up a few things. And my son looks at me and he's like, Mom, should we be taking this? I'm like, honey, we are. This is for us. And it just gives you an idea of mindset. Yeah. And I'm like, this is for us. And I'm like, he doesn't know what's going on here.
That is so interesting that you say that, because I also have other friends who lost their homes, and they're very capable business owners. They're doers. And this is what I've heard back from them. It's just extremely uncomfortable to be now in a spot where you are vulnerable. Of course, you're going to figure it all out in the long run. We're not worried about that. But this part of it, and it's just, wow, the lesson you're going to learn from this, whatever it's going to be.
Right.
I mean, the strength that's going to come out of this and is coming out of it. And so that's interesting that you say that. And people will get that kind of feeling and have that kind of feeling when they are exposed, whatever it is, the situation that they're not comfortable with.
So true. First of all, thank you for what you did. It's so meaningful and impactful. And again, it's the layers of community and circles of support that just invigorate everyone, and so that's really important work. And thank you for using your voice, your platform to do just that. And I know I'm going to be okay. I know that I'm going to come through this. Just again, sitting in that space of the unknown, it's so daunting. Looking at a rental the other day and looking at it and going, I have to fill this whole place. Even the
pots and pans.
Towels,
spatulas.
I have nothing.
Well, we're going to help you. So we have a whole community of people around you. You're going to have a lot.
And
step by step.
Step by step.
That's it.
It doesn't have to be overnight.
No.
All of that. And so it's a hard time for a lot of people. I will say that, the magic and the blessings are people coming to your aid and giving you towels, a pillow. And I'm like, yes, and yes. But it was hard.
Of course.
It's been hard. And then exposing yourself that way, because you're like, oh, Tish, if I saw you, I'd never think.
That's what I told you. You look like $1 billion.
Oh, thank you.
But you're like, I don't have a closet of clothes. I don't have a spatula. That part.
Yeah, that part. And I'm learning, because we say it and we read all those memes and those gifts oh, be kind, because you never know what someone else is going through. And then this is hitting me over the head. You do not know what someone is going through beyond the shield, beyond what you see. We should always live in kindness, but these moments are jarring enough to say God, live with an open heart, just live, give, and live with kindness. So I do feel incredibly grateful that my foundation comes from that, with my mother being such a giver. And I'm like, look at my mom's prayers working for her. Look at them.
That's right. That's
look
right.
At those prayers around me and my community, my children
Your
right
children,
now. And my 2 dogs, who are my children as well. And then you just try to find magic and moments to hold on to keep you going for the next day. And,
Yeah.
just,
And that's it.
yeah,
And it's step by step.
yeah.
I love that you were here. Thank you for
Thank you.
taking your beautiful time, really, and sharing.
Thank you.
I mean, obviously, you're going through the trauma and the experience of the fires, but in addition to that, you have this incredible career and this incredible legacy you're creating around focusing on uplifting women and giving us a position. So I thank you for that, because women like you allow women like me and others watching to have a space to step into, because you're doing it for us, with us, So,
Absolutely.
and that's bravery, because it's so scary. It's very scary. And I am very indebted to you. So thank you for what you do.
Oh my God, stop it.
Absolutely.
I'm indebted
No.
to you.
So I would love for
Thank
people
you.
to follow you. How can they contact you on social
Sure.
media, or how do you prefer?
Sure. I mean, Women Raise the Game is on Instagram and all social platforms. And then me personally, Tish Galindo 360. Yeah.
And I will put all the information in the comments or in the caption below, so you can follow her journey, support what she's doing, because this is important. It's a community-based effort. And I love you and I'm proud of you. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for being a bright light in this world,
Oh,
Gina.
friend, thank you.
Yeah,
All
thank
right,
you.
we'll have you back next time. Bye.
Absolutely. Bye.